We appreciate the opportunity to speak to this group. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Shiv Bharti. I'm the data and AI specialist here at Microsoft, covering the Midwest. My background, my entire career has been in the data engineering and business intelligence space. I started my career in the product development, building some of those products, and then really going on to work with higher ed, K through 12, AMCs, academic medical centers, as well as Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies, helping them build modern decision support system and modern decision support platform. Here at Microsoft, I am responsible for helping our customers fulfill their vision of modernizing their decision support, business intelligence, data and AI platform to make more data-driven decisions. So in terms of the agenda, we're going to talk about the value of data and how the scale and pace of innovation and change is accelerating transformation initiatives within education. Which has also been discussed as the fourth industrial revolution. We'll then talk about why the need to modernize your data and AI platform. What are some of the values that you can start adding to your students, to your teachers, your classes, your schools across your district. We'll then talk about how do you get from all of these different data that you have to actually making some actionable and powerful decisions. And then spend some time kind of taking a look at what does the platform look like within Azure. When we say modern data warehouse solution, what does that mean from Azure perspective? There are a few customer examples, so you can essentially learn about how are other customers adopting this platform. And then time permitting, we can also talk about what are the pathways to transformation. And then from a skilling and training perspective, what is the support that you can continue to expect from Microsoft? And again, I mean, if there is any time remaining, we can take any open questions from this group. So again, I mean, you have probably heard this from a number of other speakers as well. Data is the key strategic asset, whether we are talking about business, healthcare, or education. Data has the potential to transform every K-12, higher ed, and academic medical centers. Leveraging your data can be the differentiator for your students and your classroom, your school, and your district. You can reimagine education, student success, and reimagine healthcare by using data with modern tools and powerful new capabilities to streamline some of the process and build powerful insights, right? The technology in terms of compute, process, and capabilities has also advanced significantly compared to what it used to be just a few years ago. To give you one example, based on the current computing capacity, we need only $1,000 for DNA sequencing compared to $2.7 billion just over a decade ago. Right? So think about how this technology can be used at fraction of a cost to innovate and differentiate from the competition while driving student success, right? Think about how you can use this technology to provide timely and actionable insights while increasing productivity and security and scalability and performance of your legacy applications, right? Now, you can't impact what you can't measure. All of the business users, the decision makers, they need access into strategic scorecards and financial objectives and KPIs and metrics to really hold their leadership accountable and ensure that they are able to navigate the strategies and ensure that the higher ed or K-12 is kind of moving in the direction that they would like to. Without data, you're literally flying blind, right? From a K-12 standpoint, they need access into driving student success, right? I mean, how can you look at some of the insights from students and cohorts that are performing well? How can you use those insights to uh, predict who are the students that need some of the support so that you can really work towards getting to maybe 100% graduation rate. Those are the type of insights that K-12 need, right? From a higher ed standpoint, they are going through a cutthroat competition, and they need to gain access into insights which has a direct impact on the revenue. Things like enrollment management and student success. How effective are some of the teaching and learning methods and strategies that they have in place. And from academic medical centers, they can actually use this modern technology to build new digital healthcare and this new platform to reduce fragmentation in healthcare by simplifying the patient journey and providing their customers with integrated ecosystem of service and tools, right? From an IT standpoint, they need to be a partner to their business users. They need to ensure that they have this modern technology and platform that is not just secure, but can also scale as the adoption, as the need continues to increase, right? Also, from an IT standpoint, they need to make sure that the existing on-prem application that they have today, they don't have to necessarily just throw away everything that they have spent collectively years to build and deploy, right? So how can they use modern technology to add new capabilities without throwing away some of those things? And then also being able to do all of this while continuing to minimize the ongoing cost and minimize the overhead from a maintenance standpoint and lower the TCO, right? So those are some of the problems that IT needs to ensure that they are able to address, right? So the question is, how do we get from data to decisions? And how do we close the loop with actionable insights, right? Um, if we look at our higher ed and K-12, the source systems, the disparate data that they have to deal with, there is the student information system, there is the learning management system, you have enrollment, and then there is this back office, uh, ERP, finance, and HR, as well as their front office CRM applications. So there is all of these disparate applications, and the data within each one of these continues to grow. And there are, other type of new data sets that the students continue to generate. So how do we uh, use all of this data to differentiate our students, from one classroom? How do we use some of these data to gain what we call not just descriptive type of insights where we are looking at what has happened or diagnostic around why did it happen, but also uh, predictive and prescriptive insights around what will happen and can we take necessary steps before it's actually too late to intervene, right? So those types of steps can have a direct impact in driving student success, right? Um, you can use some of these types of insights to really reinvent the education process and build new frameworks for excellence and success. Your teachers can become even more intelligent and effective educator, right? So now let's talk about how our technology here at Microsoft, Azure Synapse and Power BI and our AI and machine learning platform can actually help you achieve that. So when we talk about a good data strategy, when we talk about a modern data warehouse, we need to make sure that it addresses things like how do we collect data? How do we organize? Do we have a governance process in place? Uh, is there a method for us to standardize and ensure that the data quality is being followed, right? Even beyond that, how do we integrate data and eliminate silos from all of those different data sources that I kind of talked about? Can we streamline and automate data collection and processing and consumption so you can increase the efficiency of all the individuals who are involved in providing the timely insights to your decision makers, right? You also have to think about, can you use robotic process automation where possible to increase productivity, right? One of our customers said, look, we don't want to work for our data, right? We want our data to be working for us. So you need to make sure that the modern data warehouse, this platform establishes some of the guidelines and process for data management, for data integration, data governance, data security, master data management, allow you to tackle some of the problems and scale it throughout the organization, right? You also want to be able to use AI and ML on the data sets that you already moved to cloud, and also be able to take advantage of some of the cost optimization techniques by things like being able to separate your compute from storage, along with being able to secure your data along the way, right? So those are the capabilities of our modern data warehouse platform. You can start small, you can scale without having to worry about security, data governance, and all of those key things, which is very important when you're looking to build that modern data warehouse, right? Now, Synapse is tightly integrated with Power BI, which I'm sure some of you are a user of. So Power BI is a cloud-based business analytics service. It really empowers every user to experience their data in any way, anywhere, in seconds, and actually at a global scale, right? You don't need any software that needs to be installed or server, any of those set up. And right out of the gate, you can connect to over 100 different data sources. And you can start to blend intelligence with a variety of other sources that you may have. And really, the power of this platform is in its simplicity and ease of use, right? So, just one other point here. Power BI is part of a larger ecosystem that integrates with Microsoft Teams and Office 365, as well as Dynamics 365. And what that means is if you have any of those applications in place, so from a security standpoint, you can leverage all of those security infrastructure that has been set up in deployment of any of those other applications. Now, a little bit about our AI and machine learning portfolio. Our cognitive intelligence and AI capabilities is integrated with Synapse and Power BI, and it really makes it extremely easy to build machine learning models and add predictive and prescriptive insights on your data sets. You can use what we call pre-built artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities around things like bot service and cognitive search and content moderator off of your data, right? And if you kind of think about this, you are able to take advantage of thousands of researchers who are spending countless hours building some of these capabilities. You can actually take advantage of that research and any other new groundbreaking research that we roll out, because your data is actually in Azure, right? So you can take advantage of all of those researchers on your data by being able to leverage AI and machine learning capabilities. So what sets us apart, right? If I look at my own experience of building and deploying, I can tell you firsthand, it's a extremely daunting task to try and stitch things together, right? If you don't think about that very early on, it can add significantly to the cost and complexity, and not to mention failed initiatives down the road, right? And that's where we differentiate, compared to some of the other players. We have this what we call comprehensive, complete, and integrated platform that can not just fulfill the vision that you have around education transformation, building those modern decision support platform, but also shorten the time in fulfilling the vision towards that digital transformation, right? And we give you the technology uh, to allow you to reimagine education and reimagine healthcare. This is the Gartner report that came out this February. As you can see, we are a clear leader, right? And this really speaks to the product strategies that we have in place, and also the adoption of our modern data platform with our customers, including our education customers. So with that, let's talk about some of the customer case studies. So Forsyth County Schools, right, they had this vision of using a modern technology to have a direct impact on driving student success. They have this vision of getting to 100% graduation rate. So they started on this journey of building a modern decision support platform, building a modern data warehouse to enable their educators and teachers and principals to become more data literate, right? They wanted to ensure that they are able to use these modern tools to look at the data so they can identify some of the leading indicators and some of the attributes and KPIs and metrics behind a successful class, and use some of those findings to outline strategies for students that might be falling behind, right? Use data to be more creative and think outside the box. Even use the data and insights to gain real-time insights so that they can use things like predictive and prescriptive insights so the right intervention can be done when there is still time to help those students be successful, right? And then along the way, make sure that this is cost effective. They are delivering value, but also from a cost standpoint, ensuring that there is a significant ROI in every single investment that is actually being made here. So as you can see, in since 2017, since they started deploying this, they are getting very closer to their vision of getting to that 100% graduation rate. And this is extremely huge because every single number is leading to a number of students and really helping them be successful. Next is from higher ed customers. Again, like I mentioned earlier, our higher ed customers, they are going through a very cutthroat competition. They need to make sure that along with being able to drive student success, ensure that teaching and learning effectiveness is there. They want to make sure that there is operational effectiveness as well. But along those lines, they also need to make sure that they are profitable. They are able to understand what are some of the attributes from an enrollment standpoint, from a registration standpoint, even from a retention standpoint, that is directly proportional to driving revenue, increasing profitability. And a number of our higher ed customers, for those reasons, they are looking to modernize their decision support platform so they can bring all of these disparate data sets together, be able to do cross-functional reporting, and then be able to understand what are some of the attributes, which is very important to work towards driving student success, but also ensure that they are profitable and staying competitive compared to some of their other peers. Next, I want to talk about New York DOE. When the pandemic hit, they have always wanted to build a modern data warehouse, a modern data lake platform. And when the pandemic hit, this was around March, April timeframe, they said they actually set out like with everything going digital, they wanted to provide valuable insights around how students are using digital tools, what is the adoption, what is the learning, what is some of the growth, be able to track some of those insights, provide some of those learnings to not just teachers and faculty, but also the parents. And from our conversation with them, they have said that with everything that's been so painful about the pandemic, one thing that has come out, which is a little bit on the good side, is they push themselves. They actually push the team to use a modern data tools and this modern data platform to truly uh, gain valuable insights into students' learning, provide some of these new features and functions, and really build out this modern data platform. So, in terms of the core features and functions that they started to address as they were looking to build this modern data platform was A, being able to ingest data from all of the different learning tools that they have. They wanted to make sure that they were able to load data from a variety of source systems that they had, regardless of the different data formats. They wanted to ensure that they were able to provide cross-functional type of insights, being able to process this huge volumes of data, millions and millions of transactions that is kind of coming in every day, be able to process all of that in a timely manner, and then also be able to push all of those valuable insights across their teachers, across their schools, down to the parents level, right? So if you think about the challenges, if you look at purely from a students, they are dealing with about 1.5 million students. So think about the number of records and the number of transactions that these students are creating on every day, based on the different devices that they use and the time that they spend. About 150,000 staff members in about 1,800 plus schools. So there were significant challenges, along with a variety of data, volume of data, being able to process that. But despite all of those challenges, they were able to build a modern data platform on Azure, on the technologies that I kind of talked about earlier, Azure Synapse, Power BI, along with our AI and machine learning capabilities. And in about 3 to 4 weeks, they were able to, build this content and really start providing meaningful and valuable insights around descriptive, predictive, prescriptive insights to not just gain um, visibility into how students are learning, how effective are some of the learning method, but then also provide those insights to parents so they can intervene and take the necessary steps. So Synapse is one of the platforms. Some of the other Azure resources that played a factor here is Azure Data Factory or Data Lake Gen 2, Azure Function, SQL Server, as well as Azure Synapse and Power BI, which I kind of talked about. So this is just a visualization, but again, the key point is our platform helps simplify all of the complexities around data collection, data processing, data cleansing, data cataloging, along with being able to provide more of a self-service and ad hoc capabilities to provide timely and insights to teachers, educators, faculty members, down to parents to help drive that student success. So next, I'm going to talk about the pathways to transformation, right? So the question is, okay, I understand the need to adopt. Okay, we understand the technology, but what are some of the pathways that we can take? So when we look at the maturity model, the if you look on the right, I mean that's where the North Star for most of the educators, most of our customers is where they're not just looking at the descriptive and diagnostic type of insights, but then also taking advantage of all of the research around AI and machine learning to be able to get predictive and prescriptive insights so that they are able to take timely actions to drive better success, work towards some of the strategies that they may have outlined. So that's kind of the vision, but it is a journey. You need to make sure that you have the foundations in place, which is typically part of setting up a descriptive type of insights to be able to gradually get to the top right corner where you would be able to gain more of a prescriptive type of insights. So the approach that our customers take is you can either start from a business challenges. That is there a certain outcome that you're looking to address? So it could be around some of those business challenges or business opportunities, or it could purely be purely from a technical standpoint that you have some of the legacy application uh, which is uh, which is not very productive, or it has some of the challenges from a performance standpoint, or is not scalable. So you could start either way, either tackling on some of the business challenges or tackling on some of the technical problems. And then yeah, I mean that's where you can leverage our team to work with you to create what we call a custom journey, understand your vision, create those custom journey, and then also beyond that, bring in some of the experts to help build MVP type of phase so that you can understand how to leverage Azure and our platform. So again, I mean, very quickly, the North Star, that's the vision that the customer have, and typically it could start with MVP phase or a POC type of initiative, but it sometimes it takes multiple phases to kind of get to a stage where you have not just a modern decision support platform, but a platform that you're able to use to gain some extremely valuable predictive and prescriptive type of insights. Just one point I want to make here is when you work with our technology, right? We understand that adopting a new technology, there has to be some education, some training that kind of goes hand in hand with that. And besides having the online training materials, the online lab for free, that anyone can go in there, not just learn, but spin up any of the environment just to kind of play around with that. We also run training workshops almost every week around obviously the data and AI platforms, but also across the entire Azure stack. So the key point is we typically, when we engage with our customers, we try and understand who from their team is going to be responsible for supporting the environment. What does that look like? And then we start pointing them to the different training resources, the training workshops, so that they are also skilled along the way to be able to support all of those platforms. So that's something that you can definitely expect as you look to explore Azure and our platform. So in terms of next steps, yeah, so please continue to learn more about Microsoft and what we are doing from an education standpoint. There are a number of customer stories, and if this is something that you would like to move forward with, feel free to reach out, and we'd be happy to engage in more of an envisioning workshop, or working with you to lay out that custom journey map.